Do you have a dummy here?
I
or
don't.
Is that
I'm
me?
the dummy. I'm the dummy. I'm the dummy.
All right. Mouth? What am I looking at here?
Yeah. Well, pick what you like. Okay, so this is what you'll be looking at.
Nice optics, and my tube is
Your tube comes
in there.
Your tube comes in along here. You're right.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see that you pick a target, you can get it in.
Right.
Yeah, once you get it. Okay.
So tell me about these reusable, disposable, expensive, not expensive.
Reusable video laryngoscope. You haven't. Oh, this is exciting. Okay.
I know.
No.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Okay. Okay, and they're in the market, and they're not coming to the market with a product that's bad.
No.
Okay.
I'm just
So, but
this is nice and light, which is good.
Okay, and you like this one too, right?
Now, one is a larger camera. Are both options what you sell?
Well, first of all, let's just turn this way so you can look down, just to check the optics, okay? Clearly,
this is way superior.
This is way superior, okay?
For close-up,
for close-up,
such a difference.
Exactly right. Close-up, your hand if you like, but my hand if you like. I mean, yes. To do the job, that's where you want to be, and both do the job very nicely, okay? This one, obviously, is the better camera system and screen system. Both of them have the new wrinkle, which is why nothing else you see on the floor is going to be as up to date.
Okay.
So press a button, and you've just taken a picture.
And I get a Japanese name.
And Chinese.
Okay.
Okay.
And then how do I see that picture later on?
You plug it into your computer. Okay. If you want
to integrate with iPhoto,
I don't know. If you press on the button, again, your hand, because you're holding it the way you would hold it. Press on the button again and hold it down.
And you get video.
Look in the right lower corner, video. Okay.
Nice.
So you get photo.
How much video time do you have on this?
I don't know, but 10, 12 minutes. I don't know exactly.
And then how do you charge this whole device?
Charges through there.
This whole thing charges through there. The light and
everything
camera.
charges. Okay.
And is it well priced for a solo practitioner who's buying them herself?
Yes, it is. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay. So now, do you have a choice between the two?
Do I have a choice?
Which one do you pick? I mean, if you
depends on the price.
Okay.
This one obviously you'd pick if you could. The price was no issue, right?
Okay.
This doesn't get in the way. That's fine. Yeah.
Right. I mean, bends down. So if you're down, you're where
How do you wash this guy?
Alcohol and gently, because electronics you have to be careful. But the blade, it's an alcohol wash.
You take off the blade and you can soak
Take off the log.
Can you autoclave it?
You don't do that. You just, the blade is
sterile wipes.
Sterile wipes on all this. Okay. So we're down to prices, and I can't tell you exactly because, in fact, this is not my laryngoscope. I'm here as an educational exercise, okay? Because I want to introduce you to the newest thing in video laryngoscopes, because my patent covers all video laryngoscopes, 1998.
Ooh, brilliant.
Okay.
Should be retired and on an island somewhere.
Well, there's a business part to that explains why I'm not retired and on an island. And that's to say, very simply, when multi-billion-dollar corporations come into the market. No. But yes, that's the point. One of the groups that is infringing, and I'm suing them in federal court now. Okay, I'm in federal court against these guys. But one of them is Pentax, and Japanese giant. So the chief lawyer for Pentax in the United States of America told me directly. He said, "Dr. Berall, you can't bother us, so we're not going to bother with you." He was right, almost. Meaning that in order to bother them, I have to take them to court. In order to take them to court,
millions of dollars.
$5 million is the average medical device litigation cost. Right. So, and then
they have a bottomless pit.
And nothing but time. Nothing but time. And happy to.
So how are you dealing with this?
Well, I'm dealing with it. I have them in federal court. the first thing big companies do when you take them to federal court, when you're pretty much anybody, but certainly an individual who has no chance, is they go back to the patent office and they say, this patent should never have been granted.
Who says that?
Pentax and Berall.
Because they try to find some pre-existing documentation of it.
Right, prior art.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that game a bit. Okay,
yeah.
So then you know that basically the way they evaluate your patent is they find prior art that is identical to your patent, or so close that it was there before you. Sorry, you don't get it. Nice idea, but you're too late.
You used an attorney to help you with your patent process?
I did have an attorney, yeah. But the real way they get someone like me is a patent has to be new, useful, and not obvious.
Right.
Okay. The not
right.
obvious is where they kill you. Wait, let me explain. Obviousness for the patent office is defined or set up this way. Someone with ordinary skill in the art, the subject matter, which would be intubation, let's just say.
Right.
At the time of the invention,
in 98.
98 was granted.
No one thought of this stuff.
No one. However,
we had fiber optic.
Right. Okay, but let me continue. Okay, so someone of ordinary skill in the art at the time of invention, if that person had seen this particular prior art, and also that particular prior art, and combined them, they would have found my patent obvious. That's the way the obviousness is construed. They not only used two patents. The first attack, 6 different prior arts was used. So a person of ordinary skill.
None of them work for Pentax, right? They're just other patents.
I'm sorry, just other patents that they came up with, and they say, put this one.
People getting in on the action at all, or no?
How do you mean?
The people who had those prior art.
No, because they have nothing to do with this. They're different games. Okay, but imagine someone of ordinary skill at the time of the invention, 98, would sit in front of this patent and this one and this and this, and then come up and say, that would be obvious if I had. That is the sucker role that the owner plays, the patent owner plays, because the manufacturers infringing can play this re-examination game. And
retrospective.
Okay, it's all that. You got all the right words, So I was attacked by Verathon and by Pentax, individual attacks, which the patent office merged. So I was responding to one merge attack, over 525 pages of patent lawyer nastiness and jargon and follow this path through the woods, and but I won against 2 mammoth law firms. I'm telling you, huge. I won. It's incredible. Okay, I won. And so the patent office, when I put my response in to the merged attack, the 2 other huge companies that I have in court called and said, we want to settle.
Island retirement? No,
not yet. I settled with one. The other one, we were negotiating, and then the patent office came out with their response to my response. And they said, your arguments were persuasive, and you win versus this merged attack. However, we found 2 more patents
that we didn't. Somebody else did.
Okay, no, but the patent office saying we.
Right.
We're right, but the patent office saying we found 2 other patents which reject your patent.
How are they finding them now? It's all there. It's all sitting there from the beginning. To come up with this after.
Yes.
It's pretty lousy.
Yes.
So you're not done.
Yes. So we won again.
Okay.
We won again. And the patent office, their jargon is, your arguments were fully considered and they are persuasive.
Again.
One. However, we found 2 more patents. Now,
So
just
who's
backtrack for a half a second. Backtrack for a half a second. The two companies that wanted to settle, and one did, huge litigation patent firms. The one that settled has been representing their client for 3 decades. Their client is a world leader in endoscopy and laryngoscopy. This law firm is number one in this niche. They know this niche 100%.
Yes, so how did they miss these other...
No. Well, they didn't miss anything.
Right. They didn't think that
They were going to lose, so they settled before I won, and would have cost them a lot more to settle.
Right.
Okay, both wanted to settle, and these are heavy duty. And then the patent office comes up with this surprise,
Yeah.
and then a second surprise, and the second surprise is even more ridiculous because they use 2 patents that I spoke of in my original patent, and it was never challenged by the original examiners who were there at the time.
Right.
And so the whole thing
No
is
statute of limitations on this.
well. Please, yeah. Have you did one thing that you may not have picked up? Excuse me for just a second. Both these interesting new video laryngoscopes, Mac blades, disposable blades, etc.
So you said that lady.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I'm going to walk on and I'm going to take your literature and read about more online. Thank you.
Well, thank you for stopping. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.